Hey everyone, and welcome to the Tourist Trek household. D23 just dropped a few weeks ago. We couldn't drop another video until we talked about some of the cool stuff that Disney announced at the new Disney Experience Showcase in Anaheim this year, where Disney Parks and Resorts Chairman Josh D'Amaro opened up the showcase with a statement that, quote, "Everything that we're going to share with you tonight is in active development. That means that plans are drawn, that means that dirt is moving, and I just want to be clear with all of the fans out there, this isn't blue sky. We're going to do all of it," end quote, in which the audience erupted into a thunderous applause. We need to go over a lot of these things that they announced because they announced over 50 different experiences in total. I don't know exactly how they count that, but 50 big announcements, and we'll go over some of the biggest ones with you guys right now. Jen is not here at the moment because she's at work, but I wanted to bring this to you guys so that you can hear it, that in the next 5 years, according to Disney, all of this that they announced will be happening. And there's some exciting stuff coming to the Magic Kingdom and to Orlando in general. So let's start by talking about some of the stuff that Disneyland was promised, which they opened up with Avatar updates being announced for Disney's California Adventure. According to the Disney Parks blog, quote, "We're venturing further into Pandora with a new destination at Disney California Adventure. While Pandora, the world of Avatar at Disney's Animal Kingdom, is based on Oscar winner James Cameron's Avatar film, this new destination draws inspiration from Avatar: The Way of Water and upcoming Avatar films to bring Pandora to life in a brand new way." And based off the concept art, it appears that it's going to be some sort of boat ride, possibly drawing inspiration from the Pirates of the Caribbean and Shanghai design, which is kind of like a immersive boat ride with a lot of big screens, high definition screens. But it looks pretty fascinating, and based on the concept art, there's been some rumors on where this might be. I think personally it's going over where Hollywoodland is in California Adventures. It just seems like that area has been kind of dilapidated. We just recently went there not too long ago, and it just seemed like it's been kind of forgotten about. So it's possible that this land might appear in that general vicinity, which unfortunately means that the Hyperion Theater probably will go away. And the reason I think this is because if you look at this building off onto the right, it kind of looks like the warehouse building that was there on the satellite footage. So it's possible that this land could mean the end of Monsters, Inc. Mike and Sully to the Rescue, and also, and I didn't really think about this until later, the red card trolley, which honestly is one of the coolest kinetic energies in California Adventures. It's possible because that train or that trolley runs through Hollywoodland that this could also be gone. Who knows? Still a lot to be seen, but it's possible, I guess. Moving on to the next big announcement for Disneyland, they're actually getting a new show with an audio animatronic figure of Walt Disney. According to the Disney Parks blog, as Walt Disney once said, "When we consider a new project, we really study it. Not just the surface idea, but everything about it. And when we go into that new project, we believe in it all the way. We have confidence in our ability to do it right, and we work hard to do the best possible job." Walt Disney Imagineering's first audio animatronics figure of Walt Disney is being created for this very special experience. Quote, "I speak for our entire team when I say there is so much pride and excitement for everyone involved in this endeavor. The past, present, and future are coming together, giving visitors the chance to imagine what it would be like to stop by Walt's office. Who knows what he might be dreaming up inside? Only time will tell with Walt. Walt Disney: A Magical Life will debut inside the Main Street Opera House, and after its initial run, the attraction will play in rotation with great moments with Mr. Lincoln, a fitting acknowledgement of Walt's significant advances with audio animatronics about 60 years ago when he first introduced the groundbreaking technology." Now, for a split second, when I heard this announcement, I actually got a little weirded out because here's Walt Disney's company's making a audio animatronic of Walt Disney, which seemed a little strange. But the more I let it marinate, I actually like the idea, because there's going to be a generation that has never really seen or heard of anything of Walt Disney, and the people that Walt Disney has touched personally through experiences and Imagineering. There are only a handful left in this world that can share personal stories with Walt Disney. So I think this is kind of a cool idea. It's almost like a time capsule idea to keep his memory alive. I think this is pretty cool because we don't want to lose great moments with Mr. Lincoln. So now it's going to be in a seasonal rotation with great moments with Mr. Lincoln. But I think it's pretty neat, and I hear that they will find a way to give a twinkle to Walt Disney's eye. That I'm intrigued by. I'm curious how they're going to do that. Yeah, pretty interesting. Interesting stuff coming out of Disneyland. I think this is one of the more exciting announcements. Avatar, yeah, that's exciting, but there already is an Avatar land in Animal Kingdom. There is no audio animatronic of Walt Disney on Earth, so this is really exciting. And I know that Avatar Land is going to be slightly different in California Adventures, but this is definitely a really cool addition for Disneyland. Moving on to the next big announcement for Disneyland, their first ever Coco ride. The attraction will be filled with the characters and music you know and love from the beloved movie as you join Miguel on a trip to the land of the dead. This marks the first ever Coco ride in a Disney park. Walt Disney Imagineering will draw inspiration from the attraction from beloved classics like Haunted Mansion and Pirates of the Caribbean. Quote, "We're bringing our skeletal cast of characters to life in a big way. Through the latest audio animatronics technology, these figures will appear in ways you'll have to see to believe." End quote. So that's really exciting news. There is some question on where this exactly is going, because it is coming to California Adventures, and a lot of people are wondering where on earth it's going to go. I don't think it's taking over Little Mermaid. I think, and this is just my honest opinion, nothing really backing it up, just kind of makes sense. I think it's going in Pixar Pier, and I think those Midway games are going away, and I think it's going to be back there. Because if you look on a satellite picture, I don't know what this building is down here, but I believe that that's where it's going to go. It's a pretty big show building, potentially, and I feel like that's going to be the only place it could possibly fit thematically and realistically. So that's just a Brandon guess, but I think that's where it's probably going to end up going. Moving on to next Disneyland announcement, they're going to be adding more to Avengers Campus. So this was definitely well received, because when we went to California Adventures, we went to Avengers Campus, and Jen loved it. Personally, I felt it needed more, and I think this is going to fix a lot of that, because now they're adding 2 new attractions to Disney California Adventures Adventure Campus. Say that 3 times real fast. According to the Disney Parks blog, get ready for a multi-world adventure experience with Avengers Infinity Defense. Technology that allows the Avengers to jump between worlds has gone missing, and King Thanos is using it to wreak havoc everywhere. Recruits will travel to iconic locations like Asgard, Wakanda, and New York City alongside the likes of big and small heroes. You also just might find yourself face to face with King Thanos. So this is going to be in that facade where the Twin Jet is. Pretty cool. We all knew that something was going to go there. This also kind of solidifies my thought on the red car trolley, because the red car trolley barn is there. If you ever seen the red car trolley get put into the barn, that's typically where it goes. So obviously that would have to go away in order to make room for Infinity Defense. Kind of makes me sad to think. I love the red car trolley. But it sounds like that's going to happen real soon, and they could start doing construction on that right away, because it's not impacting guest flow at all. The second attraction that they're adding is right in that vicinity as well. According to the parks panel, if you're up for another mission, Tony Stark has one for you, and you know Tony. He always wants to try something new and exciting, and it's going to make you feel like a superhero yourself. With the just announced Stark Flight Lab, you're going to sit in 2-person pods and deploy to a test station. Then a robot arm grabs your pod and starts whirling you around in a simulated flight. And a familiar face will join you at the Stark Flight Lab. Mr. Stark himself, Robert Downey Jr., reprises his role as Tony Stark for the attractions in the land. So this is pretty cool. Basically, this is a KUKA arm attraction, which a KUKA arm made by KUKA has been around for several years. The technology is not necessarily new. It's actually used in Harry Potter and the Forbidden Journey in Universal parks. But in this case, they're just taking the KUKA arm and basically whirling you around. And according to the picture or the concept art, it appears that you kind of go around a track maybe, and then the KUKA arm will pick you up and do different things to you, is what it appears to be. This was a pleasant surprise. I don't think this is a groundbreaking ride by any means, and it's not going to need heavy theming, because a KUKA arm already does kind of look like something from Iron Man's lab. But it's a nice addition to the lands. That'll bring the total attractions in Avengers Campus to 4. Stark Flight Lab, Avengers Infinity Defense, Web Slingers, and of course Guardians of the Galaxy Mission Breakout. So I think that would eventually complete the land of Avengers Campus, which I think is sorely needed because, in my personal opinion, it was a character palooza and that was about it. So it'll be nice to have additional attractions worth riding in that land. A lot of investment going into Disney California Adventure. They also announced the beginning of Disneyland's 70th birthday or 70th anniversary, which will be summer of next year. So that's really exciting. We just missed it. We went out there, got back from Disneyland not too long ago for Pixar Fest, but maybe we'll have to go back again for the 70th. It's got some pretty good merchandise. They showed some Spirit jerseys and some other things, so I'm sure Jen will want to go. They made one last announcement for Disneyland, an opening date for Tiana's Bayou Adventure. Now, Tiana's Bayou Adventure is already open in Orlando. We'll put a link to that in the description down below, where we got to ride it early on. But now they have an opening date for Disneyland, which happens to be November 15th, 2024, which happens to be the start of holiday season at Disneyland Resort. Not only that, but Critter Country will be appropriately renamed Bayou Country when Tiana's Bayou Adventure opens. So yeah, finally have an opening date for Tiana's Bayou Adventure. When we were there last, it was all construction still. So they're gonna have to move real quickly to meet that November date. But yeah, they're finally getting their Tiana's Bayou Adventure, which honestly, very cute ride. Jen and I loved it here in Orlando. We expect more of the same in Disneyland. Josh D'Amaro also snuck in one more tidbit of information. A new mission featuring Mando and Grogu were coming to Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run. I think this is a great addition because personally, Smuggler's Run was fun the first few times, but then after a while it got very repetitive. So it is nice that they're adding a very popular spin-off of the Star Wars franchise into Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, because personally, I think everybody at this point loves The Mandalorian and loves Grogu, so why not just infuse it into the park? So I think that's a good move. Expect to see the new mission jump to light speed when the new Mandalorian and Grogu hits the big screen in 2026. This is the way. So 2026, we're only 2 years away, we'll be getting the Mandalorian and Grogu on Smuggler's Run in both parks, Disneyland and Disney World. Moving international and going to Disneyland Paris, they're getting a new Lion King ride. Now, long overdue, wonderful franchise. Shocked that it took them this long to build an attraction for it, but they are building an attraction for Lion King, which happens to be a log flume. Disney has not built a new log flume attraction in quite some time, so it'll be interesting to see how this looks. I thought it was interesting though, in the concept art, they happen to have live action characters in here. It is not going to be live action. In fact, Josh D'Amaro did make that a point that it's based off the animated movie, not the live action. This just kind of tells me that it is probably old concept art from the previous Bob Chapek area that's still kind of floating around, and they probably did not update it, but it is going to be based off of the animated feature, not the live action. A brand new attraction themed around Simba and the rest of the animal kingdom will soon join the expanding roster of experiences at the resort. Disneyland Paris' second theme park, which is now being renamed Disney Adventure World, has already seen a handful of recent exciting updates, including the opening of Avengers Campus and Worlds of Pixar, and will continue with the opening of World of Frozen in 2026. The Lion King, which is celebrating its 30th anniversary this year, has long been a beloved Disney story. A new area of the park will be dedicated to the characters and stories from the film, including dining, shopping, and a chance to meet some of your favorite characters. Then, when you're ready, head down to the caverns beneath Pride Rock. The new attraction will bring you alongside Simba's journey from cub to king. It's going to feel like you stepped right into the movie. So there's not too much information right now for the opening of World of Frozen, other than that it's supposed to be in 2026. We did get some concept art, but that's about it. We don't have too much information of what that entails, and right now, as of me doing this video, there has not been a Disney Parks blog informational post about it. So we'll have to wait to see what goes on with that. Moving on to Shanghai Disneyland, they're actually getting a Spider-Man roller coaster, which I think is pretty neat. Peter Parker has gotten himself and us in a bit of a tight spot. We're going to follow him at very high speeds to get us out of trouble. Pretty cool concept art. Looks like a roller coaster. Judging by the looks of it, maybe Intamin. I'm not sure. But a roller coaster with screens, it appears. So that's kind of interesting. And then moving on to Hong Kong Disneyland, expanding the Stark Expo, there's an all-new attraction coming to Hong Kong Disneyland. Tony Stark has invited his friend and new Stark Industries intern Peter Parker to showcase some new inventions. But unfortunately, that also means this has also caught the attention of one of Spidey's most formidable villains. Now, judging by the concept art, it looks like some sort of take on Tower of Terror ride system. I do like that they are, in a sense, they're copying different attractions, but they're changing the storyline and making it unique. I think the days of copy and pasting attractions in different resorts are kind of going away, and they're giving uniqueness to all these rides. So even though this might be the same ride system that we're used to in, say, Disneyland California Adventures, they are changing the storyline on it, which I think is pretty cool. Gives it some uniqueness and a reason to go visit those places. So yeah, they're really looking at expanding the Marvel brand to just about every resort minus Orlando. But that's fine, because Orlando is getting, in my opinion, some of the best announcements. Let's go over some of that now. First up, coming to the Magic Kingdom, an all-new nighttime parade coming in the summer 2025. Disney Starlight, which is the name of the nighttime parade, will continue the nighttime spectacular legacy started by the Main Street Electrical Parade, using the latest technology to tell news stories about the characters you love. All of this is brought to life by the magic of the Blue Fairy, in addition to beloved characters from Walt Disney Animation Studios, films such as Peter Pan, Encanto, Frozen, and more. If you're hoping for a more news spectaculars around the world, you're in luck, because the new nighttime spectacular Reach for the Stars also debuts at Tokyo Disneyland on September 20th. Coming in January 2025, Disneyland Paris will also unveil its own new nighttime spectacular with timeless songs from Disney and Pixar. This moving journey will be told through projections on Sleeping Beauty Castle and for the first time down Main Street. So really cool nighttime spectaculars coming to the Disney parks. I am absolutely thrilled that we're getting our own separate, unique nighttime parade. I love nighttime parades. In Florida, it's too hot around 3 o'clock. I'm not usually at the parks then. So to have a nighttime parade when things cool down, I think is perfect for Central Florida. I've been dying for a nighttime parade ever since the Main Street Electrical Parade glowed away. That was my favorite parade growing up as a child, so to have a new nighttime parade that I can enjoy as an adult, I think is pretty awesome. I'm super stoked for this. This is one of those things that I think Jen and I screamed with enjoyment when they announced it, and it was the first of many big announcements coming to Orlando. They also announced an opening date for the reimagined Test Track. Yes, Test Track has been closed, and they're reimagining the attraction. The new opening date is supposed to be in 2025, so that is the date that they're shooting for. Enjoy a ride through scenes focusing on onboard technology, customization, and personalization, followed by a trip through a scenic outdoor route, reminding us all of the joys of driving, taking in the world around us, and spending quality time with friends and family. Construction on this reimagined experience has already begun, and eagle-eyed visitors might already have picked up on the fact that the new exterior harkens back to the original pavilion design. I think this is a good plus. I never got to ride World of Motion. I was not here during that time, and I never got a chance to experience it myself. I don't think this is going to be World of Motion, but I do think that they're breathing some new life into this attraction, which was fun when it first came out. This second version of Test Track was fun when it first came out and just got really stale really quickly and kind of lacked all life inside the ride. It was very computer, it was very robotic, and just lacked personalization and lacked fun and lacked whimsy, which I felt was on the first version of Test Track. So I do like that they are redesigning the ride theme. The ride track appears to be the same. I don't think there's any difference there. It's just breathing new life into an existing attraction. I guess that's cool. We get a new reimagined version of Test Track opening next year, so that's something to look forward to at Epcot. And that would pretty much round out Epcot's rebuilding. Is it everything we wanted it to be? No. But the other parks are getting a lot of love, and that's worth celebrating. In addition to Test Track, we are getting a new lounge in Epcot inspired by Spaceship Earth. This happens to be the old sponsor lounge. It is now going to be open to the public, and I would say good luck trying to get any type of reservation in this, because you will never be able to get in here. It'll be a very long time from now until you actually get a chance to go in and enjoy a drink in this lounge, because I have a feeling it's going to be very popular. And that view that you see in the concept art, that's basically overlooking the newly opened Walt statue and out toward World Showcase Lagoon. So it will give you a good view. I can only imagine how much they're going to charge for like a dessert package or something like that here. I have a feeling we won't be going to that anytime soon, even when that opens, but it sounds like they're already working on that. The aesthetics are a little boring. It kind of fits with the whole Epcot theme, where everything's just kind of sterile. I'm not a huge fan of that, but who knows? Maybe it'll look better than the concept art, but yeah. But the tavern I'm actually looking forward to the most is the Pirates of the Caribbean tavern. And it says that Magic Kingdom was first announced at D23. They will be getting a new Pirates of the Caribbean themed lounge. Once again, I have a feeling this is going to be very popular initially and probably for several years. But any themed lounges, I think Disney's really leaning into themed lounges right now, even on their cruise line, which we'll get to later. But they are leaning heavy into these themed lounges because I think they find that themed lounges actually generate a lot of money. So very cool. Looks like they're going to be welcoming their first guests. Both the Pirates of the Caribbean lounge and the Epcot Spaceship Earth lounge will be welcoming their first guests in 2025. So we've got some exciting things to look forward to next year. Moving on to what I think is probably the most exciting news, though, Animal Kingdom. We are getting the Tropical Americas. So gone is Dinoland USA. Say goodbye to the Cementosaurus. Say goodbye to the Midway Games. Say goodbye to Dinosaur the attraction, and say hello to Indiana Jones and Encanto, confirmed for the Animal Kingdom. According to the parks blog, work on this new 11-acre section of the park is set to begin later this year. Just like Harambe, the land feels lived in, with a long, rich history. Plus, there's a large hacienda, which will be one of the largest quick-service restaurants at Walt Disney World Resort. The space will be lush and sprawling, featuring a large fountain in the center where the villagers like to gather and tell stories. Additionally, a wood carver has created a giant working carousel featuring his favorite animals from Disney stories. It's a new take on a classic attraction that young families are going to love. That's not all that will be located here. The new land will include not one, but 2 signature attractions. Indiana Jones, a new Indy experience, is set to arrive in Disney Animal Kingdom and will be different from any other Indiana Jones experience around the world. In this new venture, the man with the hat has recently discovered a perfectly preserved Maya temple, and that can only mean one thing: it's time to explore it. He's heard rumors about a mythical creature deep within the temple, and he's got to see it for himself. So he brings us along for the adventure. But will there be snakes? We'll just have to wait and see. Which I think this is the most exciting announcement for me. I love Indiana Jones and the Temple of Forbidden Eye in Disneyland. It was my first big kid attraction. I love it. I love everything about it. I feel like Dinosaur, which is an exact copy of the ride track layout, ride system and everything, is the far inferior version of this attraction type, and it's proof in the numbers. If you go to Disneyland, Indiana Jones always has at least an hour wait. When you go to Animal Kingdom, Dinosaur might be at a 10-15 minute wait. I think people are burned out on the Dinosaur attraction. It's too dark in there, you can't see anything. There's a lot of effects that stopped working over the years. Whereas Indiana Jones, there's so much to look at in the ride, and there's so many experiences. It's amazing. It really is the best of that ride system. And I'm so glad we're getting our own version here that's unique to the one in Disneyland. It's different, which I think is so cool. So we're going to have our own storyline here, which is awesome. So once again, Disney's leaning into this same ride system, copy-paste, but changing the story. So I think that's awesome. It's not a complete copy-paste, which, you know, a lot of people tend to get burned out on over the years. So this is really awesome. Now I know Jen's not too happy about losing Dinosaur, and if she were here right now, she would be shaking her head in shame. She does not like the idea of Dinosaur going away. She loves Dinoland, but I'm firmly implanted in the yes, full steam ahead. Even when they announced this during the Blue Sky seminar a few years ago, I was all on board with this. It makes total sense. I think, yes, there's no animals in it, but I think they're going to find a way to tie in the mythical creature into it, because we all know that Animal Kingdom was supposed to have mythical creatures, and it never did. So maybe now we get our mythical creature. Anyway, moving on to the next attraction, Encanto. If you're a fan of drawers, floors, and doors, let's go. The first ever Encanto-themed ride-through attraction is coming to Animal Kingdom, featuring the beloved Madrigal home from the Walt Disney Animation Studios film. Inside the casita, Antonio has just received his special gift, the ability to communicate with animals, and his room has transformed into a rainforest. It's time to go explore alongside him, and you never know what member of the family you might bump into. Construction on the land is set to begin this fall and will open in 2027, so 3 years from now. But don't worry, you'll still have plenty of time to experience Dinosaur again and get that dino. I'm glad that they're giving people a chance to experience this before it goes away. I will always remember losing Great Movie Ride just like that. I loved Great Movie Ride. I used to be a film projectionist before when I was in high school, so I loved movies, and the way they ripped that out, thank goodness I lived here and I got to experience it, because if I didn't, I would have been really, really sad. They're giving people a chance to ride this ride in its current version, and they're giving plenty of time for people to come down and visit before it eventually closes and construction begins this fall. That's crazy to me. They're really going ahead with this, and I love it. And I'm so excited that I'm going to have an Indiana Jones ride in my backyard. That's amazing. Elsewhere in Animal Kingdom, there are more exciting updates coming too. The newest show coming to the Tree of Life Theater includes Judy Hopps, Nick Wilde, and all their friends from Disney Animation Zootopia. The show Zootopia Better Zoogether will take guests on an adventure through different biomes seen in the film and opens next winter. So this is replacing the Bugs Life ride or attraction. I mean, I didn't really care for that attraction too much. I don't like the idea of being tortured. So I guess Zootopia is fun. We'll see. I'm not a huge fan of Zootopia, so this is kind of the one that got buried in the lead. And I didn't really pay too much attention, but I guess it's coming soon. Looks like it's coming next winter, so we got some time to enjoy Bugs Life and be tortured a little bit more. Okay, moving on to the next big announcement for Walt Disney World. Monsters, Inc. Land has been announced for Disney Hollywood Studios. Picking up after the events of the Pixar's beloved film, humans have now been invited to visit the world of Monsters, Inc. And the monsters need laughter to power the city and keep it running smoothly. But it's not a true visit without the factory itself. You'll be able to see the sights, hear the laughs, and zoom through the building just like James P. Sullivan, aka Sully, and Mike Wazowski via a door. So it has been long talked about that Disney Imagineering wanted to build the Monsters, Inc. Door roller coaster. When we were in Disneyland riding Monsters, Inc., Mike and Sully to the Rescue, we actually talked about that. And I told Jen that it had been talked about since mid-2000s, that this was something that was going to happen or something that they wanted to happen. I did not think it was coming to Disney World. I never knew it was coming to Disney World, but I had always heard about this door roller coaster. And to be quite honest, that part of the movie does lend itself to a roller coaster if you see it. So if you look at the model, they actually had a model on display at D23, and other than the fact that it looks like a bunch of spaghetti, you'll notice at the beginning there, the entrance is at a lower level than the start. And I think that's because at one point, Josh D'Amaro said that you will be loaded into like a seat and it will lift you up just like a door would in the movie. And I think you can see that in the construction model here, which is pretty awesome. There's a lot of talk on where this is going. A lot of people think it's going where Muppet Vision 3D is, and then there's some people that think it's going where the animation courtyard is. I'm in the camp of animation courtyard. I know that they gave us 2 pieces of concept art. This concept art is referring to if it were at the Muppet Vision courtyard. I can see that. I can see how in the background you have the water tower, which is Pizza Rizzo's water tower. And then if you scroll down, you can also see the building facades, which are kind of already there in the Muppet Vision courtyard area. I still think it's going on animation courtyard, which is the other piece of concept art. And you'll see that this is a completely different angle than it was in the previous concept art. So I think there's 2 different areas that it could go, and I think it's going in animation courtyard. Everything I'm hearing from different outlets say that it's going here, but obviously there was talk for it to be in the Muppet Vision courtyard, because that is clearly the Muppet Vision courtyard, or it should be the Muppet Vision courtyard. But I think Muppets is safe. I think it's going over in the animation courtyard. They're looking to add capacity, and by replacing a ride with another attraction, or replacing attraction with another attraction, is not adding capacity. You add more capacity by just adding additional attractions, and I think that's what's happening here. But yeah, that is something to be brought up, because I know a lot of people were talking about that, but I think it's going into the animation courtyard area. And something that I thought was kind of interesting, if you look at the concept art, the one of Sully walking around, and you can also see Mike Wazowski's car in the background. If you look very carefully in the bottom right hand corner, there is a signature that says 20. which means that this concept art has been at Imagineering since 2020. And maybe at some point in 2020 they were thinking about replacing Muppet Vision 3D, but I don't think that's a thing now, and I don't see any date on the concept art of the animation courtyard. So it's interesting. Disney hasn't really announced where this is going, but I think those two pieces of concept art tell you where they were thinking it would go, is option A or option B, and I think it's going to end up being animation courtyard. But I thought it was interesting that there was a date written on the original concept art. So maybe they were thinking about it at one point. But moving on to the Magic Kingdom, where some of the most exciting announcements have come from, and it appears that cars will be coming to the Magic Kingdom. Unfortunately, it looks like Rivers of America might go bye-bye, but Disney Parks blog says don't get too comfortable in Radiator Springs because it's time to leave the pit stop and head west into exciting new frontiers. On this adventure, guests will be able to experience not one, but two exciting new Cars-themed attractions. One attraction will invite you on a thrilling race rally through the mountains. Take on wild terrain as you race across the landscape, climbing mountain trails, dodging geysers, and Mater's favorite, splashing through mud holes. But what about the smaller racers? The second attraction will be geared towards them and will be fun for the whole family. Get ready to start your engines. Work on this new space in Frontierland will begin in early 2025. So, this has been the most controversial, I guess, up there with Monsters Inc. Land and potentially Muppet Vision going away. The concept art that was later released by Disney right after this presentation had Rivers of America going away, like it's gone, in favor of this new attraction. Now, I am a huge Cars Land fan. I love Cars Land in California Adventure. When Jen and I were watching this unfold on Twitter, we got really excited when we saw Cars, and I thought maybe we are getting our own Cars Land, because I remember there was a period of time where it was talked about going where Galaxy's Edge is now. That didn't happen. I love Cars Land, and the thought of Orlando having its own Radiator Springs Racers-like attraction, I was thrilled. And it's cool because it seems like it has different elevations. It's not something that this technology typically does. We've seen it a little bit at the beginning of Radiator Springs Racers, where we kind of traverse through the mountainside. It's actually one of my favorite parts of the ride. It seems like this attraction is all about that. Going through tunnels, going through mountaintops. I think it brings a kinetic energy to the area, which I think makes Disneyland so special, is that everywhere you look, there's kinetic energy, and this will allow that. It seems as though they are not getting rid of the Frontierland walkway. That's still going to be there, but it's going to be, instead of overlooking Rivers of America, we'll be overlooking parts of this attraction. I think this is great. I'm all about it. To me, the Rivers of America of Magic Kingdom do not have any historical relevance. First off, they lack capacity, but they also just, it doesn't do anything for me. I am from Disneyland. That's where I grew up, in Disneyland, and that Rivers of America has everything like you'd want. An amazing Fantasmic show. Our Fantasmic show isn't even in this park. So other than the fact that you just like a quiet spot in Magic Kingdom, this is prime real estate that I think needs to go to something more exciting. I am 100% on board with this. I would say get rid of the Rivers of America, put the hate comments down below. I'm totally for this. And yes, I know it's not Radiator Springs or Cars Land, but we're getting our own version of Cars Land, which I think is pretty awesome. And it's going to be unique to just Magic Kingdom. You're going to have people in Disneyland wanting to come out here to Orlando to see this attraction because it's one of a kind. Now, if you're getting rid of the Rivers of America in Disneyland, I have a problem with that. Because the Mark Twain riverboat, I mean, I have pictures of when I was on that as a little kid, and I know that there's some people that are tied to the Liberty Bell, but the history is in Rivers of America of Disneyland, not here in Magic Kingdom, and I would like to see something more exciting. We have to remember that here in Orlando, it's a very touristy, transient community that comes here. It is not necessarily for the locals. So Rivers of America and going to Tom Sawyer's Island and all that stuff, that's for the locals. I would be okay with something new. A new e-ticket attraction in Magic Kingdom, I think is really something exciting. And yes, it's Pixar, and I know they're throwing IPs in there, but I love this attraction's artwork, and I like the technology enough to where I think this would be a good plus for Magic Kingdom. I'm excited for this. And the other ride, it's hard to tell in the concept art. It appears that it's some sort of Mater's Junkyard Jamboree just off the concept art. I don't know, because then I could also see it being like a Tomorrowland Speedway, a newer version of Tomorrowland Speedway, in which case now you can get rid of the Tomorrowland Speedway and put something cool and exciting over there. All right, I'm done talking about Cars Land, because now we're going to go a little bit beyond the Cars themed land. And the biggest news that dropped right at the end of the presentation was that Magic Kingdom is getting a Villains Land. Now this is awesome. This concept art looks absolutely stunning. And if we get anything remotely close to this, it's a huge win for the Magic Kingdom. I believe this is going to be going in behind Haunted Mansion, that area, and I think in the concept art, if you look back at the Cars Land concept art, there's this pathway to the right, a large swath of pathway. I think that leads into the Villains Land. At least that's my speculation. According to the Parks blog, it says, once upon a nightmare, a place where poison apples are aplenty and magic potions can ruin your whole day. For all those things hiding in the shadows, it's time to join them as we lift the veil on a forthcoming Villains Land at Magic Kingdom at Walt Disney World. Which means happily ever after may feel like just a distant dream. The evil ambition of all these villains means that the possibilities are endless for the stories that can be told, and visitors to the dark and thorny land should be prepared for whatever chaos might come their way. This new land will encompass all of your nightmares. The space will be home to 2 major attractions, dining and shopping, on an incredibly twisted grand scale. Be prepared, you poor unfortunate souls, Josh teased. It's going to be a fearless new vision for what a Disney experience can be. Can we just say that based on the concept art, there's definitely a roller coaster. In the background in the top left-hand corner, you can see a thorny roller coaster. And then in the bottom, I don't know if this is the same coaster or if it's a different attraction. Could there possibly be two roller coasters in? I don't know. We'll see. But it does look like there's another roller coaster. A lot of people think that's water. It does look like water, but if you look closely, it does look like a roller coaster zooming by a dark cavern with waterfalls in it. So I think that's what that is. But overall, this looks awesome. I don't know if it's going to be 2 roller coasters, but it's definitely at least 1 roller coaster that's going to be added in. Can we just say that finally villains are getting some love in Magic Kingdom? You know, I think a lot of this is in response to Epic Universe at Universal with their Dark Universe. I think Disney saw that there is a new theme park that's got Super Nintendo World, it's got Dark Universe, it's got a 3rd iteration of Harry Potter. That's going to be a very busy park, and the investments that they're pouring into Magic Kingdom, Animal Kingdom, and Hollywood Studios, and you could even make the case for Epcot, says that Disney is not okay with Universal running away with it next year. So there's a lot to look for on the horizon. And I think that's kind of the whole point of this announcement, is that it seems like a majority of the funds, and if you were to ask me before D23 where the big announcements would be heading to, I would have said Disneyland. I thought their 70th anniversary coming up was going to steal a lot of the show. I was wrong. Walt Disney World ran away with it, and we've got some really exciting things over the next 5 years, and it's crazy to me to think that in 5 years, all the stuff that we talked about will be true and have come true. I think that's pretty exciting. It's an exciting time to be in Orlando, for sure. But yeah, I think out of all the news, the Cars Land news was the most exciting. Villains, for me at least, and Villains is exciting for a lot of people because it's been talked about for years. A lot of this stuff has been talked about for years. They were just waiting for the right time to announce it, and I think it's exciting that they're all being greenlit kind of all at the same time. The last bit of news, and we cannot forget it because our channel is heavily based on it, is the cruise line. The Disney Cruise Line announces 4 more new ships, bringing the grand total to 13 ships in its fleet by the year 2031. So they're going to be releasing a new ship every single year. Can we talk about how amazing that is? We have the Disney Treasure coming online this year. We have the Disney Destiny coming online the year after that. Then you have one ship coming to Singapore and another ship going to be based in Tokyo. That's a copy of the Wish. And then 1, 2, 3, 4 more ships coming. We're gonna have so many cruise vlogs over the next 6-7 years. It's gonna be insane. I can't even think about it. When this was announced, Jen nearly cried because she loves the cruise line. I love the cruise line. You guys love the cruise line. And to think that Disney Cruise Line is finally getting the love it deserves and is growing exponentially. Seems like just yesterday I remember Bob Chapek going up there announcing that they were adding 3 more ships to the fleet, and we thought that was insane. Now we're looking at potentially 13 ships. That's incredible. But overall, great announcements at the D23 Expo. It was awesome to see on Twitter and all the news coming through and all the excitement. You know, there's going to be some things that people are not excited about or, you know, upset about leaving or anything like that. But I think it's important to note that, you know, a lot of this stuff is going to be exciting for the future, and it's something to look forward to. But that pretty much wraps up all the news at D23. Tell me what your thoughts are in the comments down below. What are you most excited for? Because I'll tell you right now, the thing I'm most excited for is the car-themed attraction. I really do think that's going to be super awesome. Different elevation changes, kinetic energy to the Frontierland area. I think it's awesome. Monsters Inc. roller coaster, one of its kind, the first ever suspended roller coaster made by Disney, incredible. I think Villains Land, I mean, they're all super exciting. And not to mention the cruise ship fleet, it's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be an exciting 5 years, and we're glad you guys are along for the ride. If you liked the video, be sure to give it a big thumbs up. And if you haven't yet and you wanna join the trek for future vlog adventures, I would say, Jen, tell them what to do, but I guess now I have to say that because she's not here. But be sure to hit that subscribe button and tap that notification bell to get notifications on when we go live or when we drop a new video. And until next time, see you real soon.